According to the reports from the front, the Ukrainian military likely began another wave of massive offensive operations on the southern front lines. Local authorities confirmed that on the evening of July 6th, Ukrainian forces sharply increased their operations on a wide front of up to 30 kilometers in the Zaporozhye region. In the area of Orikov, the Ukrainian army launched attacks on Russian positions near Nistyanka and Kopani to the south, and Novofodorovka-Verbovaye to the southeast. The attacks are carried out by small assault groups of reserve units that were not previously involved in operations. All Ukrainian attacks thus far have resulted in no victories at the cost of heavy losses. To the west, Ukrainian units continue constant attacks near the village of Pityhatke, where they have already lost dozens of units of military equipment while achieving no gains on the ground. There, the Ukrainian command uses the same tactics of constant attacks by small assault groups in an attempt to exhaust the Russian defense. According to local reports, up to 5 waves of attacks were launched from Pityhatke towards Zhiribihanke over the past day. After intense artillery shelling, troops of the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade of the Ukrainian Army went on the offensive. The first 4 waves were mainly stopped by Russian minefields and dispersed by artillery fire. By the evening, the 5th and largest assault began. It reportedly involved up to 200 fighters that were covered by Ukrainian artillery but were thrown into battle without almost any armored vehicles. Ukrainian assault groups were spotted in advance by Russian reconnaissance UAVs and destroyed by Russian fire. In the Kherson region, the Ukrainian military has already reportedly lost several hundred fighters under the Antonovsky Bridge, where they have gained a stronghold but failed to develop their success and advance. The Ukrainian grouping on the eastern bank of the Dnieper River is constantly shelled by Russian artillery as well as TOS-1 MLRS utilizing thermobaric warheads, FAB bombs, and even Iskander missiles. Despite heavy losses, the Ukrainian military command is again preparing new forces to throw them against Russian positions. After a month of futile, bloody offensive operations, Kiev urgently needs to show some victories on the battlefield to please its Western patrons. In recent weeks, the Ukrainian military has been pulling reserves up to the southern front lines, transferring them in closer to the front in small groups under the cover of night. These are units that did not take part in the first stage of the offensive, including the so-called Offensive Guard. The recent assault operations were carried out by Ukrainian infantry without almost any armored vehicle support, which signals that despite large supplies from NATO, the Ukrainian army already suffers from a lack of heavy military equipment and is saving it for the upcoming escalation. All of this while losses in manpower continue to grow.